There are many hoops to jump through when creating YouTube videos. One of those I have faced in my last projects is storage. Just the unedited sizes of my last 5 videos have neared the 100 GB mark, and keep in mind that to come to that, I needed to sift through even more footage on my phone. Thankfully, these types of issues are very common, and the solutions are called Network Attached Storage or NAS solutions. There are many types of NAS boxes online, but most of them didn't exactly strike my fancy. Limited OS support, limited hardware, proprietary software for remote connections, you name it. That's when I stumbled across a pretty intriguing single-board computer thanks to the Icewhale team, the ZimaBoard 2. It is basically a metal brick with a laptop-grade Intel N150 processor and 8 to 16 GB of RAM. And the best of all, actual OS support thanks to the x86 architecture and the pretty much unlocked BIOS. The computer also has 2 SATA ports and something I have personally never seen before with a laptop CPU, a PCIe slot. Thanks to that, the 2 SATA ports won't really be a limitation for home use, as you can connect more peripherals using that PCIe slot. For example, in my case, some NVMe SSDs. The 2.5 gigabit networking ports are also perfectly balanced for the N150, which is a quad-core Celeron class CPU. All these specs are enough for TrueNAS, which I am going to be using in this build. The ZimaBoard comes with its own operating system though. It's great as a plug-and-play solution, but it lacked a critical function for me, expanding the storage afterwards. You might have noticed that in the last few months, the prices of storage and memory devices skyrocketed. So in this build, to not hurt my bank account as much, I am only going to be using a single hard drive and a single 256 gig SSD. I feel like just with that sentence I pissed off most of the people who are well versed in networking. Sorry for that, but also do understand that not many home users need NAS servers with hundreds of gigabytes of RAM, hundreds of terabytes of storage and the latest AMD EPYC CPUs. Between my limited video schedules and the not so significant amount of data I possess, the 6 terabytes of 100 megabytes per second storage is not going to be posing any issues for me. With this video, I just want to show how a basic home setup could work, everything from the perspective of a total beginner. So please sheath your pitchforks for once, yeah? With all that out of the way, let's start with my first ever home-built NAS experience. First things first, I started by installing TrueNAS Community Edition. The installation guide can be found on the website, which is going to be more helpful and up-to-date than a simple video. However, there is really a caveat. TrueNAS isn't really designed to be installed on an eMMC storage, which the ZimaBoard uses for its internal storage. This meant that I needed to modify the install script using the shell of the installer. This might also help some others if you too are installing TrueNAS on a ZimaBoard or some other computer with flash storage as the boot drive. After doing that though, I created an admin account and started with the creation of the 2 storage pools. One pool on an NVMe SSD for the apps I will be running, and also some fast temporary storage, and one pool for the main mass storage. The good part of a ZFS, so the file system of TrueNAS, think of NTFS, FAT, etc., is that you can extend the drive with a mirror, which means in the future I can just get another drive and make the whole drive redundant, which I currently don't basically need. After configuring Samba, I was basically done. I had a network attached storage device that I could connect to locally. Just a local connection is fine, but I wanted to be able to access it from anywhere as I will be installing some extra cool apps. To connect to it from anywhere on the world, I decided to install Tailscale, which is like a virtual network that allows you to access devices without forwarding ports on your router. The installation for that was also pretty simple. Where it got a bit more problematic was with the installations of Jellyfin and Immich. Jellyfin is basically an equivalent to the Netflix server we have at home. Put your own videos on the server and stream them from wherever you want. The installation guide was great, but the process was not without issues. The problems with Jellyfin mainly boil down to the configuration of the permissions of the folders. Any kind of NAS should have permissions correctly set up so that the access to certain files can be regulated. For example, it wouldn't be great for a media server to access, mission critical documents, or a normal user to just delete the database of the media server. TrueNAS apparently had two types of permission lists, the Unix variant and the one more compatible with the file sharing protocol, in my case Samba I was using. As I wanted to be able to add the videos over Samba, I had to configure an access control list, or for short ACL, compatible with Samba. I thought just adding the user/group of apps would allow the apps to gain access to the folders, but nah, it can never be that easy, can it? After some playing around, I found out that the ACL has to be configured in the app itself too, after which everything worked perfectly though. The N150 is totally adequate in some basic 1 to 2 user streaming. And after configuring the Jellyfin server to use less memory, I was also okay in the memory department. Immich, on the other hand, reminded how funny modern computing still can be. Immich is basically a self-hosted Google Photos alternative, and for some reason I couldn't install the app. What was the issue here? Wrong configuration? Nah, probably not. My internet being spotty? Also not, which I verified by checking the logs. What fixed this? A restart? Now, why do I exactly need a restart for the installation of a containerized app, especially on an operating system that is meant to be stable long-term without any restarts? But anyway, Immich also has some local machine learning features that might need some configuration, as the 16 GB of RAM was nearing its limit with just these two apps. For a small household to use though, this should be perfectly adequate. Let's talk about the performance a bit too. I was able to upload and download at up to a gigabit, or about 120 megabytes a second, and that was on Wi-Fi, which is basically the limit of the Ethernet ports on my router anyway. It is able to handle two 1080p Jellyfin streams, which is enough for me, and uploading and processing the 5,000 photos and videos combined took about 2 hours, which was greatly helped with the fact that I housed the database of the both apps on the SSD. During all of this, the CPU of the ZimaBoard reached about 87 degrees Celsius, but it stayed there without much noticeable degradation in performance, which is impressive considering that this is completely passively cooled. I give my thanks again to the Icevale team for giving me the final push in creating such a system. If you have any improvements about this, please do comment them down below, as I really like to see your guys' comments. And with that, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.